Welcome back to another video. Today we are in the Halloween Cup, and we want to be featuring a team with the Palossand with the Azumarill and a Toxapex. Here we have the Toxapex versus the Palossand here. This is going to be a baiting situation. Are they going to be able to get the Shadow Ball off, or are we going to be able to bait? They go for the Psychic. We go for the Scorching Sand. Ideally, we want to kind of switch out of this. I think we do get the attack debuff, which is great. And then we're going to immediately go for another Shadow Ball. It does KO, so that's a great situation for us. And then our opponent ends up coming in with their Azumarill. So this could be the Toxapex Azumarill and Toxapex. We've actually had a video on this, and it is indeed that team right there. So we know what to do here. We're just going to stay in with our Toxapex. This Toxapex should be able to beat this Toxapex. And then it's just going to be a Azumarill versus Azumarill face-off. But I think we have the health advantage against that Azumarill. And so, okay. Looks like our opponent just ends up quitting. This is going to be probably a GG's. It looks like they have just fainted out here. Mainly, probably because they have the realization that we're going to be able to win this matchup right here. We're going to farm it down, and it's just how it is sometimes. This team here is the team we're facing is a pretty decent team. The Toxapex running the Psychic version, not the Dark Pulse. The Dark Pulse is pretty much repetitive versus the Psychic, so that's why that team runs that Psychic version. On to the next game. If you didn't realize it already, this is also basically an ABB team. Kind of hard countering any charger bugs. We're kind of fishing out charger bug. So here we have a pretty decent lead as we are able to have super effective Scorching Sands here, which we do get a shield, so we immediately switch out into the Toxapex. We figured that this Dragouchi would throw a move, but it looks like they're farming up to potentially a big move, and then they switch out. So we'll keep that in mind. That Dragouchi has a ton of energy. This Fortress here is going to come back in. Looks like the Fortress is going to throw a move, and we're going to shield here just because I think we're gonna be able to take this Fortress down if we had shielded the Earthquake, and that is indeed what's going to happen. We're going to be able to get to this Brine and farm down. They revealed that they have a Carbink in the back, so this situation is actually looking really good for us. Looks like this Palossand was a core breaker for their entire team. We're just gonna throw brines here, chip it away, and we're gonna force our opponent here to make a decision. Are they gonna be throwing the charge? Okay, so they actually switch out. We're gonna allow them to use up all their energy. We know that they have a ton of energy, so 2 Aqua Tail energy is gone. And here we have the Azumarill, which has a pretty decent matchup. Even if this has Gum Shot, we should be able to survive it, but we're just gonna shield here. Yep, we did call the Gunk Shot correctly. And we're just going to have to go for this Ice Beam here. And then we're going to have to go for possibly another Ice Beam. Right before... Okay, well, they're going to switch in, but we still survive any move here. Moonblast goes through, doesn't KO, and we're going to completely undercharge. And we're going to see if we can get one bubble. We do get one bubble, which allows us to get to another Ice Beam here. And this should KO. Let's see. It's going to be close. Nope, it's going to be, well, too much. All right, so GG's to our opponent right there. We are able to figure out that team. Luckily, we are able to realize potential Gunk Shot on that Dragouchi. Because it was weird that they, farmed up all that energy and didn't throw anything at our Palossand there. So here's a fantastic lead. We're doing super effective fast moves. They're doing resistive fast moves. They're only going to be able to throw Mud Bombs here. Interesting that they're staying in. Okay, they finally decided to switch out. They're trying to catch a Scorching Sands. Luckily for us, we were aware of that. We switched into the Azumarill. We can tank a Shadow Ball, no problem. Okay, and we're going to throw our Ice Beam here. This Ice Beam does take it low enough, so we have to make a decision here. Do we allow the switch to go through? No, we're going to shield here and farm down, because this Azumarill is still pretty decent against that Toxapex. So we have energy for whatever's in the bag. If we see the Toxapex, we're going to throw the Play Rough here. Since we have such big energy advantage, We're going to try to undercharge here, actually, and try to get sneaky with it. We are able to get to... Okay, they are able to get to the Mud Bomb. It does not KO. And then we immediately throw the Ice Beam without really looking. I mean, it was still okay, but we had the energy for the Play Rough. We should have thrown the Play Rough, honestly. But at the end, it didn't really matter because that Greninja was so low health. Even with the Ice Beam, it's still taking about 30% damage. Which is the good and bad thing about Greninja. It's so spammy, but it's so fragile. So yeah, pretty decent games so far. I figured that instead of running that Copagrigus Toxapex Toxapex and Azumarill team, we switch it up a little bit and we feature the Palossand with this team. Still fits pretty well, and it frankly does a little bit better if we see a lot of Charger Bugs, but of course we don't see any Charger Bugs right now, so can't see any of that. Azumarill lead here, it's kind of iffy. They are doing super effective fast moves on us. We do have the hard counter of Toxapex in the back, so we're actually just gonna play this out because we don't necessarily want to switch into our Azumarill as it's easily countered. So we're just gonna stay in and just see if they're gonna allow us to. Okay, they're going to let the Shadow Balls go through. They go for the Ice Beam. We're just gonna farm down. So they actually end up having the Palossand in the back as well. So we're gonna bait. We have the Scorchy Sand, and then it gets the debuff, which is huge. And this is gonna be an easy decision. We go into the Azumarill here. Azumarill goes first because it's doing super effective fast moves, but it also avoids any potential poisons in the back. Azumarill just does not want to see any poison, so good to get rid of it right now. We're going to get to this Ice Beam. This Ice Beam is going to potentially KO. It does KO, and it looks like we called it. There is a poison in the back. Nice catch by my opponent right here. We're going to complete undercharge. It doesn't really matter. We do get one bubble out of it, and we're going to immediately switch into the Toxapex here. Toxapex is basically a shield. It's definitely going to lose because we're not going to be able to outpace it, but we are able to get to this brine. This brine here, we'll chunk it away, and our opponent is forced to go to the Nidoqueen. So our opponent ends up having to throw another Earth Power here. It has to be. Yep. So they use up a bunch of energy. We're going to have to come back in with the Palossand here. Pressure the Scorching Sand. This is definitely going to get a shield, and this is all about, can we catch this move here? We're paying attention, we're counting, and we're going to switch right on the move. So if this is Earth Power here, it is Earth Power. They try to undercharge, but unfortunately, even with the undercharge, they're not going to be able to get to another move. So GG's to our opponent right there. Nice catch by us. And honestly, that was a tricky situation if we were not aware of the counts. And plus, we basically had the same core. They just had Nidoqueen and we had Toxapex. Here is a fantastic lead. They switch into the Greninja. With the Greninja, we're going to come in with the Azumarill. Once again, we're just going to get this Azumarill out of the way. We don't want it to be stuck on a poison type. Plus, in my experience, I feel like we don't necessarily need to go for the Play Ups here. Because just in case there's a poison type in the back, we don't want this to be super healthy. So we're just going to go for the Ice Beam here. Even that Ice Beam right there does, what, 25% damage? It's resisted too, so no need to go for the Play Ups right there, I don't think. And if we can get a shield out of this situation, try to get our opponent to like use shields somehow, that's even a bigger bonus. So Azumarill going to go for another Ice Beam here. We do get a shield from our opponent, and we're actually able to get to another Ice Beam here. Does our opponent end up double shielding? They do. So Azumarill actually getting 2 shields out of this Greninja matchup. We're going to come in with our Toxapex immediately to try to farm it a little bit, and our opponent ends up having the Jellicent. So this Jellicent here is going to be able to dominate this Toxapex. However, our Palossand with 2 shields looks really good right now. So we're just going to allow this Jellicent to use up all their energy. They have to, well, this potentially could be a bait, so we're just going to let it go. It could be a Shadow Ball. It ends up being the Surf, so that's really good for us. We're just going to have to go for this Scorching Sand here. The Scorching Sand will be able to do super effect. It does roughly 35%, maybe 40%, and we do get the debuff. So we're just going to shield here just to preserve the health of it, and we're just going to throw this Scorching Sand right before they get to another move. We don't want to take any more, even if it's Rock Slide, just to keep this Palossand fairly healthy. And then we're just going to get to this Shadow Ball here to take out this Jellicent. Boom! So GG's to our opponent right there. Let us know if you enjoyed this video and check out this thing.